Today I want to talk about The Professor and the Madman, also published as The Surgeon of Crowthorne by Simon Winchester. It's another one of those what I call micro histories. I don't know if that's the correct term or not, but there's a narrow focus history, I guess is another thing we'd call it. But this is about James Murray, who's a self-taught Scottish scholar. Back in 1879, he was appointed to compile the Oxford English Dictionary, which didn't exist at the time. So it was like a brand new undertaking, and the English language, even more so than it is today, was just a mess, and people in different areas couldn't even understand each other. So they decided the higher ups that know better decided they needed to put everything in a dictionary so that people can talk about the same things all the time and understand each other, at least what the words mean. So the professor, he was largely self-taught, didn't actually become a professor until he released the first volume of the dictionary. So um, was it's a monumental task, and so he one of the ways they wanted to try to catalog every word in the English language was to uh, crowdsource the content. So they asked for people to submit their words with all the documentations, where they found it, so they could really pinpoint first usage and the etymology of all the words. And it's really it was a interesting undertaking. And juxtaposed in this is a story of Dr. William Chester Minor, who was a Civil War veteran, an Army surgeon in the Civil War. He killed a man in London streets, um, uh, based on some sort of demented state he was in. He was deemed insane at the time, um, and he was sentenced, instead of hanging, he was sentenced to a lunatic asylum at Broadmoor. So where he comes into the story is his submissions to um, the call for words. He was he was a doctor, obviously, as well read, and turns out he like read every book they can get a hold of in the insane asylum, and he would submit over 10,000 words, and a lot of them were extremely difficult, and some of them were uh, um, the professor actually elicited his help on some of them because he didn't know he knew he could find the answers. So he gave him some assignments. Eventually, they met and became friends. And I mean, this story is just it's a um, amazing book, amazing stories. It's sad in some ways and kind of goes over a lot of different topics, but just really narrowly focused. Basically the Oxford English Dictionary, Victorian attitudes towards mental illness, crime, and punishment. And I believe I can't remember if it was this one. Um, uh, one of these early cases, led to the thought that maybe someone was innocent if they were insane. So kind of put that in motion. I think it was this story. So um, this this historical event, and then he apparently suffered from PTSD. So those early indications of how war trauma can can affect individuals. And then it's just also a nice story, an unlikely friendship, develop through this undertaking. And it's just a monumental work. I think it's very interesting, whether into true crime, um, or wordsmith. If you're a wordsmith, it's very interesting. They go in deep in a lot of etymology of some of the words and difficulty in finding the uh, first markings of the or first use is what they wanted to find out, and just the amount uh, of dedication it took to put together the dictionary in an age where there's no computers or anything. Pretty monumental work. So it's a very good book. Uh, Interesting in so many ways. Highly recommend Professor and the Madman.